Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. He's Jack. Say hi, Jack.
Hi, everybody. My popcorn's done.
I hear that. How you doing tonight besides the popcorn?
I'm starving. Otherwise, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm here. Corey, thank you so much. It's nice to see politicians pass the political football back and forth, but better than some NFL teams. Oh, good God. We'll get into that in a few minutes. For fuck's sake. And my little conspiracy theory on that, because I do have one, Jack.
Uh-oh.
But first, I want to tell you the story of my day. When I first get up, I see
time.
Phoebe,
Yeah.
right? And she's there, and I pet her. I think we have a slight delay. I'm sorry. I don't know why. Maybe we should try the satellite. We seem to have better luck with that.
I don't know.
Hang on. Do.
Was
All
that going to cut
professional
into your
shit.
game time?
Nah, I don't use it as much anymore. Since a lot of the game time problems. I probably cut out for a second. But a lot of the game times problems is also getting games downloaded, which I now do on the Starlink, so it doesn't cut into it at all, and I usually have plenty. But can you hear me now?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. So I'm going to give a countdown. When I get to 3, just say something so I know if this is better or worse. 1, 2, 3.
Something.
There's still a slight delay there. We'll see what we can do with it. Anyway,
So
I go out there and I pet Phoebe. And I come back in here, I have a cigarette, and I realize, I need more. So I go to roll some, and my son comes home, and Phoebe's gone. And I can't, it's weird for anybody to come into the house and her not be right there.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, maybe she's sleeping hard somewhere. And then a couple hours later, like, where is this cat? Because I've come out of my room a few times. I'd even gone upstairs, and she is just not responding like she normally would. Well, apparently when my son came home, she snuck out.
Oh, shit.
And so Phoebe had about a 2.5 hour outdoor adventure today. Now, you've heard me talk about how quiet her voice is.
Yeah.
I follow her tracks around the house, and I get to the backyard, and beyond that is just basically forest, man. I'm like, oh shit, please don't let her be in there. And I'm calling her name, and I hear meow. Like, where are you? And I call her again, and I cannot pinpoint where she is because her meow is so quiet. And then I turn, and she's at my foot. I don't know how she got there. I don't know how long she'd been there. And at first I didn't recognize her because in the direct sunlight, apparently she looks more brown than she does in unnatural light in a house. And my first thought was, what fucking cat is this? But it turned out it was her. She was fine. She actually, other than being lonely, she seemed to enjoy her trip outside.
Oh, that's not good.
She does have all the Maine Coon characteristics. She's a long-haired cat. She has the tufts of fur that protect their little pity pads when they go outside. So she didn't have a bad time out there. She was just lonely because she needs to be around people constantly.
Yeah.
So my other son comes over, and he was the one that first said, hey, do you have a lot of cats around here? There's a lot of cat prints outside, which set off alarm bells. And he's getting ready to leave, and Phoebe's getting ready to run out again. I'm like, oh, no. I will put your ass on a leash. But yeah, that was my day with my kitty cat.
Congratulations. Now I have an indoor-outdoor cat.
Well, she comes outside when, like, we come home from grocery shopping. One of us will stand with her as the others bring the groceries in. And she's usually very good about that. But yeah, she just ran out. Maine what? A Maine Coon. I just said Maine because it's how I shorten it all the time. There was nothing. I wasn't trying to not say coon online because there's nothing wrong with coon. Raccoons are coons.
Understatement gave you a strike on your passes for that one.
There's nothing wrong with saying Maine Coon. Anyway, now she has a taste. She's had a taste for it since she was little. I mean, she's always liked to go outside. She lived outside before she lived with us, and it's been a pain in the ass to keep her from running out all the time. She's gotten better about it, but she just snuck out with. It had to have been when both of us were right there, and just quick as a bolt. Apparently, she made it outside, and we just missed her, which is interesting for a cat that size. We have to pay more attention. So, Jack,
Monkey.
let's talk about classified documents, shall we?
Today.
Yes, we do. Today, Mike Pence came out and announced, yeah, I had classified documents in my house too. You know, Jack, for a system of classified documents, we're shit at classifying them and keeping them secret.
Yeah, well, apparently everybody just takes that shit home.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's got some at their house. Are they wallpapering with it anyway? Yeah, so Pence announces. Yeah, right? Hang on a second. This is not working out. This is actually a little worse. Why is it so good at night when we use it?
I don't know.
At night when I plug it in, there's never an issue, but for some reason when we're live, it's a pain in the ass. So, yeah, Mike Pence, because of the review at Joe Biden's house, decided, maybe I should look through some of my papers. And sure enough, and actually he didn't do it, Jack. He had a lawyer do it. He had a lawyer go through and look for the classified documents. And sure enough, they found some. And they called the FBI and the National Archives and be like, yeah, we got some classified documents at my house. I'm going to go tell everybody about it. Which I will say this, good on him for at least admitting it now, where, you know, the Biden one took several months before we found out.
Yeah.
But I can't shake the feeling that this helps Biden. That more than anything else, this helps Biden. Two men who absolutely raked Trump over the coals over classified documents, Joe Biden and Mike Pence, have classified documents in their house. And Pence's just happens to come out as all of these polls are coming out saying nobody trusts Biden. Everybody thinks Biden fucked up with his handling of his own documents. And then suddenly Mike Pence is like, oh, me too. And I have no proof of this, but I can't shake the feeling that he kind of did it to help his old friend.
Biden?
Yeah, because yeah,
it won't surprise me.
Thank you, Snubberth. I think Pence has been punished so hard for being Trump adjacent that he is constantly on damage control. I think he's trying to, he wants to run in 2024, and he's trying to be the anti-Trump Republican. And I think that especially with his own comments here about Trump and how irresponsible it was for him to have these things, and then seeing Biden get raked over the coals and repeatedly and over, that he was like, I'm gonna do this to get the heat off of Biden. Because if Mike Pence, straight-laced Mike Pence, can accidentally have some of these papers, well then certainly President Biden could accidentally have some. Certainly. Right?
Yeah, but also certainly Trump could have some too.
Well, no, you see, this is the narrative going around. Mike Pence and Joe Biden, they didn't actually possess the documents. We actually, was it a law professor that said this stupid shit? Look. No, it's not. It's that Mueller she wrote account who claims to have some kind of legal stuff. They said, look, you don't understand. Biden didn't actually possess those documents. What? He didn't, just because they were in his house doesn't mean he had possession. And they were being serious.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
Really? Put a brick of cocaine in your house and call the police and see if that it's not in my possession shit works. Try it out. I'm very curious how that works out for you. But yeah, the whole notion is that no, see, these were each of these guys, they only had a couple of documents. It's easy to accidentally take a couple of classified documents where Trump purposefully took some. And we do know Trump purposefully took some. The one I always go back to is the Kim Jong-un letter. He purposefully took that because he sees that as his. Where the actual classified documents and stuff, you could absolutely make the same thing, that the same argument, and they just got mixed in with other shit and they didn't separate it properly. But none of that stuff has been granted to Trump. Did you see Snowden's tweet about how this is a crime even if there's no intent? I didn't see his thing, but look, that is true. I mean, without intent, you can break the law and it's still a crime, but unless it's something egregious, usually they're like, yeah, you didn't mean to do this, no big deal, don't do it again.
Yeah, it's not an intent crime because the way the law is worded. I've had to hear this so many fucking times. The way the law is worded, it doesn't matter what your intention was, you still broke the law. They just don't prosecute for it very often.
Exactly. So it is a crime, but that doesn't necessarily mean anybody would go to jail for it or even get into a courtroom over it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Hillary. What she did was absolutely, unquestionably criminal. And they just went, we don't care. It's not that big of a deal. Who was the guy that went into the National Archives? Sandy Berger, is he the one? Went in, took documents and burned them?
Yeah. Was he the one that was stuffing them in his pants and trying to eat them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He stole documents from the National Archives and destroyed them. You know how much time he served?
Didn't do a day, did he?
Not a day. He didn't get into no legal trouble. They were just like, Sandy's so crazy. All right, I'm being a little facetious there, but yeah, Sandy's so crazy. It seems like everyone has classified documents these days. I wonder how many other politicians are in possession of classified documents that we don't know about. Probably tons.
Yeah.
You have to realize it's not just president and vice president who are privy to classified documents. Everybody on the Intel committee sees classified documents on a pretty regular basis. Anybody who has any dealings with the State Department, the Department of Defense, these days, the Education Department, everything's fucking classified. And all of Congress has access to that without the same controls that you would have if you worked in, say, at the Pentagon. You get caught sneaking shit out of the Pentagon purposefully or accidentally, yeah, you're probably going to jail. Do that in Congress? It was a mistake. It just got slipped into the wrong file. Chances are between the House and Senate Intel committees and all the other ones who would see documents, there's dozens and dozens of people in the U.S. Congress or formerly in the Congress who have them. Yeah. KS1, thank you. Something I've been meaning to say. Might take multiple messages, so don't rush to read this. Oh, I should have waited. But don't rush to read this for a bit. But point to the battles in schools about trans kids and all that, and say normies will rise up. But I think it's too late. And then continued. All right, I'll wait until you get them all done and read the rest. And I'll reread that one when I do it. But, Jack, am I wrong that it just seems a little too convenient?
It does. It absolutely does.
And that he self-reported it like this and it pops up immediately. I mean, the Biden one, as far as we know, what the latest or the earliest date that we can point to that they've given us is early November, and we didn't find about it till mid-January, early to mid-January. And Pence's, we find out in 2 days. It was like January 20th that this information was turned over. It just seems too convenient.
Well, he is trying to run for president too.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And so I really don't know that that's the case, guys. It's one of those just feeling things. So that don't quote this as, hey, Monkey said that's. I'm not saying it's true. It's just the feeling I have. Because it is. It's just too convenient. Meanwhile, it's going to take the spotlight off of what's going on with Biden. It's just going to make it, so everybody does do this, which is what some of us said during the Trump thing. Like probably everybody has these, especially president-wise, who has some things that other people, you shouldn't have that. And he's like, I declassified it. Which, by the way, Pence, again, did not have the authority to declassify anything. So if he has these documents, it's absolutely 100% illegal, period. Does that mean they're going to prosecute him? Nah. Are they going to prosecute him? No. The other thing that it could be, real quick, go ahead, Jack.
The more people that have these at their house, the less likely anyone's getting prosecuted.
Yep. And that's part of the thing with the Biden thing. This makes it more likely that he's just going to get away with this and it all goes away. Metal Minister, thank you. Pence's OG mono-party establishment. Of course, he's running interference for President Puddin' Brain. The only state secrets are those they keep from us. You're not wrong. You are not wrong about that. All right, that Chaos 1's still continuing, so we'll get back to that in a little bit. Anything you want to add about Pence having these documents, Jack?
I think this is just one of those situations where he's trying to get out in front of it now. Maybe he is trying to help Biden, but he's also trying to help himself, because if he is running for president, he wants to get out in front of this and let it fall out of the media.
I mean, there is that, and I considered that, and that is definitely one of the possibilities that he's just trying to save it. Look, it's all over in Biden, with Biden being in the news so much with this exact issue. How are they really going to come after me for doing it? I mean, yeah. But if you're paying attention to the polls, that doesn't really seem to work there, Mikey. Because the polls on this are really bad. Something like 63% say it's basically anybody but hardcore Dems are like, yeah, fuck this guy for this. And they have nobody to blame but themselves for that. If it wasn't for the Trump stuff and they found out that there were some documents at Biden's house, it probably would have been like a 50-50 split, or even still in Biden's favor if, they found out he had a couple of random documents from when he was vice president. But they made such a big fucking deal out of the Trump stuff. Send him to jail. He needs to be in prison for this. The media set this all up. They didn't mean to. Because they didn't know Biden's dumbass was going to come out and admit he had these things.
Well, I would actually say that the FBI is partly to blame for that too, by having this stupid raid. If they hadn't gone in full bore, the media wouldn't have made such a fiasco about it. And like, this is finally it. We finally got him.
They treated it like it was a fucking mafia house they were raiding. Yeah. Everybody out. You can't look. Not even your lawyers can see the documents. Yeah, so it's the press's fault and the Democrats for going along with it, trying to get rid of Donald Trump, and they burned Biden in the process. Good job, idiots. Good job. Yeah, the walls are closing in. That's what they said, Faithless. The walls are closing in. We got him this time. He belongs in prison. Okay, I have a few super chats to read. By the way, hi all over here on Rumble. I am trying to pay attention to you guys tonight. I'm not so good with the paying attention in general, so please forgive me. I know now what I do. Please. Anyway, so something I've been meaning to say. Might take multiple messages, so don't read this or rush to read this. People point to the battles in the schools about trans kids and stuff. They say normies will wise up, but I think it's too late because these kids are being taught this is normal, not this is progress, it's normal. And the few parents that stand up aren't going to make a difference because look how they poisoned my generation. Cheering the death of old people from Koof, their own parents, they cheered death. Kids are told trans girls' periods are normal. Yeah, right. I saw, and celebrating it. Those who question are lost souls, not even worthy of mercy or compassion. This fight is worth fighting, but I look down the road and I see where it goes. An extra donation for putting up with that. Thank you for all 4 of those donations, my friend. I share your worries on that. There's a lot of people with the pendulum, and I think the pendulum's flying. I think it broke off its hinge. And we'll talk about that. There was an interesting video. Did you see that puppet video?
No.
Teacher with a puppet. With my internet tonight, I don't know if we'll be able to see it. Maybe we'll try, but she's got this little puppet, and she says that it doesn't really have an identity because it's not boy or girl because it's a puppet. And this one kid speaks up and he goes, puppets can be boys or girls. And then another kid pops up, or both, or was it, or neither? And another one goes, or non-binary. And these are 5-year-olds.
Oh, I heard about this, but I didn't see it.
Yeah. The indoctrination is real, and it is taking effect. And this is why they go after children, because anybody pushing back about it right now, sure. But you're going to be coming up against a generation here in about 10 years. They'll be 15 in 10 years, Jack, and on the internet and fighting their little fights, who have learned this shit from the womb.
Yeah, and it's going to create a lot of headaches for the rest of us.
Yep. Thank you, Shio. During his investigation, I'd have loved to have been a fly on Pence's face for LB. Man, I really would have liked to have seen when they told Pence that, yeah, we found some in there. I bet that was funny as shit. Speaking of which, did you see the Steve Ducey video that was going around today?
No. Was it Steve Ducey or was it the other one? Peter.
Sorry, the other one. Peter. Peter was, it was his turn to ask questions at the White House today. God, I hope this plays. We're gonna test it. Guys, let me know how choppy this is, because I'm sure it will be, because my internet's being a douche. And I will throw it into chat for you guys to watch. So, wow, that took forever to pop up. I am not real confident in this. I'm not real confident. Hopefully, at least the audio plays.
You found out that the FBI had located even more classified materials in Wilmington. Which 4-letter word did you use?
When you found out that the FBI found more documents in Wilmington, what 4-letter word did you use? Can we get a salute for this man? That
Right?
was a brilliant question. By the way, she just laughed about it, which is great. She laughs and she goes, "Oh, Peter. Oh, Peter." And then he launches into whatever his real question was. Yeah. Asked her what her 4-letter word was that she dropped. And you know what? I think America deserves to know that. I think she should have had to answer that question. Chat,
Yeah,
what do you guys think it was? Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure it was, oh, shit.
At least something close to that, yeah. I'm pretty sure she's like, fuck that guy. I have to answer questions about this. Audio is good, cool. All right. Yeah, sorry, guys. I'm going to have to figure out what the hell this is. Maybe just the router needs reset, but the last 2 days, the internet has been absolute garbage here. And I don't know why. I'm well past any time that it should be, Jack.
These things happen. I mean, your internet's not the best. Neither of ours
Yeah,
is.
I know, but it sucks to have to tell the audience, hey, guys, there's something great you should watch, but I can't show it to you.
It's a
Speaking
secret.
of which, it's a secret. It's like documents at Biden's house. Guys, On Twitter, there's the link for the video of the teacher with her little ridiculously dark brown puppet. Apparently, that's a Nigerian puppet, I guess. A Sierra Leone puppet. I'm not sure. It's really dark. Like ridiculously dark puppet. It's like seal dark. I'm not saying that, nobody's that color in real life, but it's few and far between, man. Good God. But it's their new friend at school by the little lesbian teacher. Now, there's a great part in that video where in between the teacher teaching, there's 4 teachers talking. And one of them says this: it's amazing that it seems like the work we're doing is working because you didn't even have to tell them to say non-binary.
The brainwashing's taking effect. Yay.
Yeah. It's not amazing when you've been brainwashing these little kids with this over and over and over again.
Right. Hey, real quick. Thank you, Travis Gardner. Someday Peter Ducey, SP, is going to ask, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then he probably will ask that at some point, and then they're gonna bang right there in the room in front of all the other press.
You ever see any romantic comedies, Jack?
Oh, unfortunately.
I love romantic comedies, so I don't share the male hatred of them. In romantic comedies, there's always a moment. There's always a moment when the girl realizes she actually likes the guy. And that was this moment today. This is where she realizes she actually does like him, and so they'll commence to banging. Before there's some big thing that almost tears them apart before they get back together at the end.
Yeah.
That's what this was today.
Maybe
so
she's going to go
I wish
back
those
to her...
crazy kids all the best. Go ahead. I'm sorry, bud.
Right? No, sorry, it's the lag. I think she's going to go back to her hometown to open up a little boutique, and he's going to be working there as like a lumberjack or something. And he's going to be like, you should do it. And she's like, but I have this partner in the city who's very powerful and has a great business job. He's like, no, you should stay here and open that cupcake boutique that you've always dreamed of. And then they'll fall in love. That's every Hallmark movie.
You're not wrong, but a lot of times instead of being lumberjacks these days, for some reason the guys are flower arrangers.
Yeah, but they all wear flannel and shit.
Sure. But the lumberjack isn't so much anymore. That's a little bit of a dated reference, boomer.
Yeah, I'm okay with that because they all still look and dress like model lumberjacks.
They do. Travis Gardner, thank you. Someday when these kids are older, many of them will realize what was done to their generation, and they will say, and there will be hell to pay. All right. I need y'all to listen to me. I want to believe you. I want to be with you. I had to cough. I didn't want him to listen to that part.
I want you to listen to the dead silence.
I want you to hear me. Most people don't change their mind like that. Most people don't rebel like that. Most people will live and die with the same stupidity that they always had. Most people are not rebels. And especially in a world where this is the kind of shit that is not just accepted, but preached and celebrated. I hope for the day when everybody realizes how fucking stupid all this shit is. I really do. I just don't ever see it coming. Because it's going to take such a sea change that you're actually going to have to be. It's almost like when Roe got taken away. Like, oh my God, you took our rights away. They're going to see it like that. If you try to pull back on any of this, it's not just going to be getting back to sanity. No. You're going to be going back to oppress people. You want to put them back in oppressive states. Why don't you just put black people back in chains? That kind of nonsense. So I understand, but you have to realize you're coming at it from a point where you already understand this is nonsense. And the kind of people who are being literally taught this from the womb, like as they're learning to talk and stuff, you have parents these days who are like, no, I'm going to let little meh, sorry, meh, just I'll use a different word, little arg, decide his own or their own gender. I mean, literally coming from the fucking womb.
Yeah, I think
We're going to wait to see what the baby tells us is their gender. Go ahead, Jack. Sorry.
I think, unfortunately, you're looking at a lost generation where it's going to be an entire demographic of people that are so brainwashed, much like any kind of cult ever. They're going to need to be deprogrammed, and most of them will not do it, and they will get violent over this because they're not taught how to cope with their emotions. So if there is any pushback, you can expect them to be violent because that has been what is taught to them. Look at the examples that we've seen before with the Antifa and these other groups that think their entitlements are in fact part of their very being. So you are attacking their very core, their soul. And I don't think it's going to be any kind of awakening. I think it's going to be messy because these people are easily triggered into anger and violence, and it's been encouraged and rewarded in them to do that. Plus, they're a bunch of tattletales, so they will absolutely go narc to the cops and the big daddy government, who is more than eager to willingly protect them. So I think we're in a lot of trouble in about 10 years, if we're not already, because we've already got some of this nonsense going on.
Randall says it very well. It's easier to deceive people than it is to convince them they've been deceived. It's true.
Yeah.
It's much easier to lie to people than get them to believe that they were lied to.
Well, people
and
don't
that
want to
brings
think
us
that they're
to
wrong.
Well, that brings us to Scott Adams. I want to talk about this little prick today. The creator of Dilbert. Before we get there, Cast One, thank you. Usual spaces I crawl in are feverish right now. If they talk about this, it's reaction matters. Trump was rude. Mostly I'm seeing calls for destroying GOP due to Santos, the New York guy who lied, and Boebert management, plus bullying for anyone critical of homeless. There's a lot going on in there. There's a fight right now within the Republican Party over what it's going to be. So, yeah, part of that is the Santos stuff. Look, Santos should step down, period. But as I've pointed out many times, there's so many liars up there that if you're going to go by you lied during your campaign, that they'd have to pretty much have like nobody left in the house and start over. So my problem there is all the hypocrisy in relation to Santos. Thank you, Cryptic. My digital multimeter initially gave erroneous readings. It turns out it was all just a fluke. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I love the jokes we get on the show, Jack.
Well, yeah.
I'm just going to hang that out there. And real fast, before we move on, Travis Gardner, thank you. But Monkey, unlike many other movements, the kids will see the physical scars in the mirror every day. Hashtag not all. Remember, even with the people who have transitioned, it's not that many people. It's just not. So some of them will, sure. But look at what's happened to the few kids who have detransitioned. They get blasted. Sure, Chloe Cole has a lot of support. She also has a lot of people who make their entire Twitter presence off of saying what a liar, horrible, shitty person she is. Look, everybody is supposed to be respected for who they are, except detransitioners. I hear you, and I want to believe, Jack. I just don't. Go ahead. Dude.
Oh, I understand, but yeah, unfortunately, I'm right there with you because people like Chloe Cole are relentlessly attacked, and we already see them being socially ostracized. They're gonna be just like extreme right wingers at this point.
I don't know if you've been paying attention to Scott Adams out there. This little prick. He did a video the other day where he's talking about how the anti-vaxxers were right. The anti-vaxxers were right. He says, I take the L. And there's a lot of people patting this guy on the back for admitting he was wrong. The problem is, I don't believe he's actually admitting he's wrong. I think he's being a sarcastic douchebag. And let me bring up a tweet. Where'd that one go? Yeah, this one. To make my point here. So he's arguing with people about, he actually said that if anti-vaxxers were right, it was on accident. And he wants people to show him what was the information that you had that I didn't and everybody else didn't. But here's a specific quote that irritated me. I have a lot of respect for the people who were smart enough to avoid a hastily prepared vaccination in favor of the relative safety of an engineered bioweapon that escaped from a lab. If you think he's being sincere here, I have a ton of bridges to sell. This is him mocking people. Even if he's saying, hey, yeah, you guys got it right. This is him go, well, I mean, you took the hastily prepared vaccine. You were questioning that, so you could take the engineered bioweapon that escaped. Of the two, you would think that the latter would be the more dangerous.
Yeah,
this is him being a douchebag.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's getting so many people patting him on the back. He's calling you guys idiots. Sounds like a prick. Oh, he is a prick. Look, I find the guy funny a lot, but watching his reaction to this, as he is, I do believe he thinks he was wrong. I really do. Because the more and more studies have come out saying like, yeah, we never actually tested this on humans. And you're not going to be allowed to see the animal testing stuff. And he was a hardcore vaccine guy. Hardcore.
Yeah.
I had arguments with this guy, and I wasn't hardcore anti-vaccine. I was just like, no, you're wrong about this. You're overselling it. My thing was always a voluntary thing, Jack.
Well, yeah.
And probably not for anybody young unless you had severe problems. But he was hardcore, the vax is going to save us all. And instead of just admitting he was wrong, instead of just admitting, hey, you guys were right, I should have checked out some of the studies that I dismissed out of hand before, he's doing this bullshit. He's pulling this shit. Well, here's the truth about it, Scott. The engineered bioweapon was the safer bet. Didn't you ever have chicken pox? You're older than I am, motherfucker. We have a vaccine for chicken pox, which really we don't need. There's no good reason for a vaccine for chicken. Oh, but it kills a couple of kids a year. I get it. I do. But it's something most kids get, and they get the little sores and it goes away. And they think that using that same kind of thing for people who were probably never going to be that sick or sick at all. Seriously, several people out there will test positive for it and never knew they had it. This is a thing we all know happened. I told you guys from the very beginning, we needed to have chickenpox style parties with this shit. And they tried convincing you. I know, right? They tried convincing you that no. Natural immunity, it's not going to last as long as the mRNA. And that shit never made sense. Never made sense. And they had no information on that. None at all. Zero. But that's what they told everybody. And then they changed it to, well, it might not last as long. When the data actually started coming in, the showing, natural immunity is holding up as well or better than the vaccines.
Real quick.
I actually quite like his streams. I don't hate Scott Adams. I just think here he's being a fucking douchebag. Go ahead, Jack. I'm so sorry.
Thank you, Cryptic. My son was chewing on electrical cords, so I had to ground him. Made sure he was conducting himself properly. Thank you, Cryptic.
Conducting himself properly. How dare you?
He dares.
Thank you again, Cass1, For the coming generation, you will be the extremist who stood opposite MLK, the old regime, and you have already lost. They need villains, and you have performed magnificently because you were genuine. Okay, I'm done now. Have fun. To some people, we're already villains, is what it is. Look, I had somebody today telling me, because I was talking on Twitter again about the Crowder thing. How dare I? And they wanted me to talk about Pfizer and the they actually called it a genophage. Do you know what genophage is, Jack?
Video game?
It is a genocidal kind of bioweapon developed in the world of Mass Effect.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Video game.
You need to fight against the genophage. Look, I stand by everything I've said. I really do. And for anybody out there, hey, do you still think some people should get vaccines? Yes, I do. I still think some people should. Stubber, thank you. PSA Stitch has done full streams on Scott's nut job antics. I'm sure he has. Because sometimes Scott goes off the deep end. I'm not going to lie. Phage means eater. Yeah, the actual term genophage translates to something like he who eats babies or something like that. It's geno and phage. They're Latin words. You can look this up. But yeah, it basically, what the genophage did was made it so that most females couldn't actually breed. Their babies would be born dead. So the few who actually could produce offspring would become highly prized spoils of war, basically.
I thought they were called breeders who have clumps of cells.
Kind of, yeah, but not specifically.
Nope, sounds like that game's bigoted. We should ban it.
It's okay to admit when you're wrong. It is, without being a complete prick about it. If you want to make the point, hey, I went with the side where all of the, let's call them experts, because that's what they're called. All of the experts said this, so that's what I went with rather than randos on Twitter. You know what? That's a fair argument. It really is. As long as you admit you just stopped there and didn't do any other reading. The first thing that should have tipped everybody off to this vaccine being untested is the fact that nobody can sue over it. It's in our laws. They have no liability for this stuff. That should have been a tip off that, maybe they're worried something could happen down the line.
Yeah. Well, I've learned two things today. Scott Adams is incredibly sarcastic, and Mass Effect was written by transphobe J.K. Rowling.
The original Mass Effect was actually really good, and then along came Andromeda, and yeah, you cannot sue them for vaccine complications. Yeah, that is in the law. It's in the law that funded this shit. Snubber, thank you. Don't forget the aliens in that game they neutered were so genetically beastly with immunity they had to fix and reapply the plague. Isn't that some retcon bullshit from what's it called? From Andromeda? Because I don't remember them ever talking about the. I don't remember that from the first 3 games. Maybe I'm just not remembering that part. But yeah, one of the reasons they did this though was that they did reproduce so quickly, and they were beastly when they were born. So yeah. Andromeda never happened, Monkey. I would like to agree with you, but unfortunately it's canon. Evolved Potato, thank you. Do you still stand by saying slavery was a really great thing? All right, that was said. How dare you? God damn it. You know what, Jack? I got to stop making jokes sometimes. Actually, I wasn't even making a joke there, was I? I was paraphrasing lefties.
Probably, but then again, you also told people to stop being Mexican, so...
I really got to stop talking. Cryptic, thank you so much. A journeyman asked an apprentice to name 2 types of Transformers. His answers, Decepticon and Autobot. Well, I mean, he's not wrong.
True.
Those are two kinds. And thank you, Snubbers. No, in 2, Morden found out the Krogan's immunity was overcoming the genophage, that they had to do secret dead drops in food and supply aid. I don't remember that part. I'll take your word for it, but yeah, I don't remember that part. I do remember you can use in 3, you can cure the genophage. You can,
is it
and I did
Sprite and chicken noodle soup?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I believe it was a green mist that comes out. It's been a while since I played. So yeah, just admit you were wrong. And if you sincerely want to know why people, because I don't believe he's being sincere here, and several people have tried asking it or answering him, and little fucker gives a sarcastic kind of what we read there every fucking time. And if you really want to know, just ask. Ask sincerely. If you feel duped because of this, which he clearly does, if you go through his timeline, I mean, this goes back to like October of last year. He clearly feels duped because it comes out that the virus, or that the vaccine doesn't stop transmission, which we were told over and over and over and over and over and over again. And he was very upset by this. Like, wait, you guys told us that. Yeah, you were lied to. You were lied to. Just like they told you can pass it asymptomatically and there's no proof of it. You know how I know that, Scott? I went and looked at the fucking studies. It wasn't that hard to do. Thank you, Hyman Lyman. 9 out of 10 dentists say toothpaste is about 100% of docs say a random shot is perfect. Yeah, I don't think so. Oh, sorry, that's a dentist say toothpaste is okay. So 90% of dentists, but 100% of doctors say random shot is perfect. Yeah. Look, doctors are also the ones who gave us the opioid crisis by just shoving that shit at people over and over again. And by the way, thank you for that feminist $12. Snubber, thank you. It's largely exposition during his loyalty mission. He explains his follow-up work and something about genetic junk data, his plague setup being recognized by Krogan immunity. I believe you 100%. And if you go watch my playthrough of some of this stuff, you'll see I didn't pay necessarily the closest attention to all of that. I did the first time I played through, but that's like 3 years ago now. So I appreciate the clarification there. But yeah, that it's just not something I remembered. Metal Minister, thank you. 2 guys walked into a bar. The third guy ducked. My favorite is 2 dyslexics walked into a bra. But thank you for the donation and the joke. That and Dyslexic of the World, untie. It works better in print than it does out loud.
It would have to.
Yeah, but it's funny as shit, and I laugh every time I see it. All right, Jack. We're gonna do a little not revision. What's the word I'm looking for here? We're gonna recover some stuff. We got to recover things.
We're doing a
refresh
montage.
Kind of a montage tonight in actually about 12 minutes. So if our audience drops off real suddenly here in a couple of minutes, I understand. We're going to have Kyle Rittenhouse on Nick Rekieta's stream. This is Nick Rekieta did a lot for Kyle, especially public perception here on the internet. And a lot of people thought he would be one of the first people that Kyle would go on, because Kyle goes on his media tour afterwards, that he'd stop by Rekieta's place. Apparently there was a middleman in there who kept that from happening. I don't know much about the guy, and Nick was very vague about it, but that guy's gone. So now Kyle's free to come on, and he is coming on. Real quick, Evolved Potato, thank you. You were talking about how slavery in ancient times, instead of slaughtering your enemies, you enslaved them, and the human race wasn't slaughtered so much that we ran out of people in the area. That sounds like something I would argue. I'm just saying.
But before you go on, it's very important to note that since this is happening very soon, get your donations in now before you go, because we're poor.
Well, it's also important to note you'll be able to watch it, and you don't have to run over there because you can watch it. What I'm going to do, Jack, when we're done here, I'm going to go turn it on, and then when I'm done, I'll go back to the beginning. So you can stay here.
Yes, please do.
And please do.
Like, share, and subscribe.
But I thought it'd be a good time to remind everybody what exactly happened in the Rittenhouse case. What happened with the media bullshit around it. The fact that even today, you can go on to Twitter at any moment and find somebody saying that Kyle Rittenhouse is a murderer, even though that's not true at all. Over on the Rumble, thank you so much, Tall Person. It is good. There have been so many jokes. Today is Belly Laugh Day. Oh, cool. Nice. How do you follow Will Smith in the snow? You follow the Fresh Prince. Nice. Very nice. Thank you so much for the donation, my friend. Guys, we are on Rumble. If you don't like supporting YouTube, you can watch us over there. The only time I didn't do it was the after party, Jack, and that's just because I was lazy as shit.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense.
I was lazy. I was tired. I'd already done 2 streams, and I wanted to bitch a little bit more, so I just turned on an after party on YouTube. But typically, I'm over here. I'm over here on the Rumble, guys, so you can watch there if you'd prefer. Nut says it trends at least once a week. Yeah, the Rittenhouse is a murderer thing. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah. Oh,
so
and a racist
Kenosha, Wisconsin.
On top of that.
Oh yeah. Kenosha, Wisconsin. There's a riot because who got killed? Was that the killing or was that Jacob Blake? I forget what kicked it off.
I think that was Jacob Blake. Who got shot.
Jacob Blake.
This. Out of the car.
Yeah, this fucking murderous. Sorry, I don't want to call him murder. This would-be murderous piece of shit. You don't think he was going for that knife for the fun of it?
Well, maybe he was going to use it to rape somebody again.
This sexual assaulting piece of shit who had rammed his fingers up his ex-girlfriend and stolen his children in her car, gets into an altercation with the police and tries to grab a knife and gets his ass shot. Not killed. He ended up just crippled, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And gets a payout from the city, and they didn't charge him. Thank you, Keldrig. Honestly, I'm so done with the Rittenhouse case, but I'm glad Nick's finally getting an interview. I'm conflicted on whether to watch. I mean, if you're done with the case, there's no reason to, honestly. What happened with Scott Adams? Thank you, I pwn all noobs because I rock. He was just being a facetious jackass on Twitter, which is my lane, God damn it.
Right?
Stay in your lane, Scott.
Real quick. Thank you, Cryptic. Civil engineer asked his town planner, what's the technical defect in a human body? Entertainment area is constructed very near sewage area.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
Although technically, I mean, isn't the entertainment area also got a sewage area running right through it? Which is also pretty spot on.
Yeah. Which is why you go in naked, just like Charlie when he goes in the sewers.
Yes, indeed.
Also, thank you, Jordan250. What do you call a monkey in a minefield? A baboom.
Nice. All right. So because of Jacob Blake being shot, people decided it'd be a good idea to try to burn down the city of Kenosha. And they did a pretty decent job on night 1.
Yeah.
Including setting fire to several car lots. Well, the guy who owns one of those car lots, he owned others, and he asked people to come defend it. Now, he denies that, even though there's ample evidence that happened.
Yeah, he didn't want to be on the hook civilly.
Yeah, there's ample evidence. But Kyle Rittenhouse is one of the people who shows up to defend this thing. And he comes with a gun that was in Kenosha. Let's just be honest about this part. There was a gun in Kenosha that was his, and he had it in Kenosha. His dad lives in Kenosha, right? And he had friends that lived there, and he worked there. They're talking about he came across state lines. Technically, he lived in Illinois with his mom, 15 minutes away from Kenosha. They tried making it sound like he was on the other side of the fucking state.
Yeah.
There was so much bullshit that went around this story. It's one of the major reasons I hate our press is because of stories like this. These goddamn liars, they knew the truth. They didn't say he lived 15 minutes away in Illinois, which they could have done and would have been correct. Instead, they're like, he crossed state lines. He came from Illinois. So tell the truth. Saying he came from another state and saying he came from 15 minutes away are entirely different things.
Yeah, they try to make it sound a lot worse.
So he and his friends are there defending. Go ahead, Jack.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Travis Gardner. Is your refrigerator running? Yes. Oh, must not be an LG. That's a quality issue. Thank you, Evolved Potato. Did the prosecutor get in trouble for all the shit that he did, or did he get away with it? Because what he did should have gotten him censured, if not disbarred, for questioning his Fifth Amendment. I think he got away with everything.
He did. Didn't he leave, though?
Yeah, I think
if I remember correctly. Yeah. So yeah, he didn't get in any trouble for it. So Kyle and his friends show up and they're defending this place. And then Kyle gets separated from the group. Jack, do you remember why Kyle got separated from the group?
Wasn't he trying to put out a trash fire or something?
Yes. He had been asking people if they needed medical help, and then he sees a literal dumpster fire set by our good friends at Antifa, and they were trying to roll it into a gas station. That part can't be underplayed because it's not like it was just a dumpster that was sitting there. They were trying to push it to a gas station. I don't know if you know this, Jack, but gas is highly flammable.
Really?
It really is. Jordan, thank you. I heard a frog do a series of short and long croaks. Never mind, it's Morse toad. Good God. Well played indeed. Yeah, they were not just next to a gas station, Chauncey. They were actively pushing it to the gas station. And Kyle gets involved and he runs in to ask if they have a fire extinguisher, comes out with a fire extinguisher. And this is a fire extinguisher that becomes, for some reason, a major part of the case. Like, how dare he try to put out a fire? That was actually one of the fucking prosecution's arguments during the trial, that he should have just left it the fuck alone.
What, was he a fireman?
What were you a fireman? I mean, for fuck's sake. Anyhow, so Kyle can't get back to his group because the police cordon off some of the roads, and he ends up getting chased by a pedophile. Now, Kyle didn't know it was a pedophile. All he knew is there was a crazy man chasing him while Kyle is holding an AR-15. I got to be honest, Jack. If I'm holding a semi-automatic rifle and somebody runs at me, I'm going to question their motives because they're running at somebody who has a gun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely a red flag.
Thank you, Metal Minister. What do you get when you cross King Kong with a kangaroo? Giant holes all over Australia. I'll see myself out. Thank you. Or an ape who can jump to the top of the Empire State Building.
Gigantic poop.
Just saying. That too. All right. So this whole thing, even though all of it is on tape, all of the important parts are on film from multiple angles. Kyle runs across the parking lot. We were live when this shit started.
Yeah.
And we were sent the video of Kyle running across the parking lot, JoJo chasing him, JoJo the child toucher. Just want to remind you guys, he molested a 9-year-old child, had sexual intercourse with a 9-year-old child.
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing that out there for all the people who feel bad for old JoJo. JoJo was alive a lot longer than he should have been. Just saying. But anyway, he chases Kyle to where Kyle gets cornered behind some cars. So Kyle turns, points, and JoJo reaches for the gun and gets put down like the dog that he was.
No,
And
dogs.
I will not. Fair. I will not couch that language. He was a shitty person who was going to do something bad to Kyle, period. Do you think he was going to get there and just give Kyle a hug? No. Anyway, and by the way, let's not forget, he just got out of the loony bin that morning. JoJo just got out of the loony bin that morning. But it's okay, y'all, because now we couldn't tell the jury that because it might sway them one way or the other. You know, the crazy motherfucker who was running after somebody with a gun and cornered him, and he gets shot.
Don't forget something was also thrown at him before that plastic bag that may have had a brick in it.
The plastic bag was thrown, and before Kyle fires his gun, somebody close fires a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Who last I knew, they were dragging out his case so that they could try to get Kyle with it.
Well, maybe, Monkey, they suspect that he is, in fact, the person that planted bombs in January 6th.
So Kyle shoots this guy and kills him, and everybody starts, get him, kind of shit. So Kyle starts going to the police. There's a police right down the street, and he starts walking towards them, and these fucking crazy the mob starts chasing him and catches up to him and knocks him down. And one guy jumps over him, and Kyle shoots at him and misses. One guy hits him with a skateboard and takes a shot to the chest, if I remember correctly. And then the third guy pulls out a gun and goes to point it at Kyle, but before he could swing it all the way around, Kyle takes off his bicep. He kills 2 and wounds 1, all of whom were trying to hurt him. And remember, whether you think they were actually going to or not, it doesn't matter what you think. Is it reasonable that Kyle thought he was in mortal danger? That's the law. Did he think it? Not do you think it? Do you think it looking back? Did he have reason to believe that in that moment? And the answer is absolutely yes. Now, they've said, you can apply that to Gross Crotch, who changed his name. I don't remember what his name is now. But Gross Crotch, what was that?
He changed it to retard.
He should have, because that's more fitting.
Yeah.
They're like, well, Gross Crotch, he could have had that same thought in his head when he pulled out the gun. No. Because if he just stayed the fuck back, he would have been in no danger at all. He put himself in that danger. That's different. Yeah, he ran up on Kyle and pulled out. Go ahead, dude.
They're not supposed to advance on danger.
No. And Kyle didn't in any one of his situations. In the first one, he was running away, and in the other one, he was on the ground. He couldn't run away or towards people. And so he gets these shots off, and he gets up and he continues walking to the police, people no longer trying to attack him. And then we get the trial. Well, first we get the media bullshit, including us being told over and over and over and over and over and over and over again that he shot black people. The only person that he even fired a shot at that was black, he missed. See, white guys can't jump or they'd be alive. We know this. There was a whole movie about it. The only person of color that he shot at was the black guy who jumped over him when he kicked him. Because I forgot that part. When he jumps, he kicks Kyle as he's going over. Purposefully. It's not like he tripped or anything.
Yeah.
So the media blows up with, oh my God, this guy shot some people at this thing, this right-wing nutbag. They went after him immediately, Jack, and they went looking through his social media. And they're like, oh, he's in the Young Explorers. this police cadet program. He's obviously racist. Except there's no evidence anywhere of Kyle being racist. None. And then they start digging. Him hitting a woman, Jack. A girl.
What? A woman?
A woman. Jack, do you remember why he was hitting her?
She was attacking his sister.
She was attacking his sister. It's not like he ran up and just smacked a bitch. He was defending his sister. And then they point to a video where he's sitting outside of a CVS and he sees what he believes is an armed robbery. And he says, I wish I had my AR-15. Jack, do you remember what he did instead of going home and getting his gun?
Sat there and did nothing.
Nope. He called 911.
What?
Yeah.
What a monster.
He called 911. So yeah, they point to all this stuff that it's all racist. They have pictures of him with what? The guys at Black Rifle. Is that who it was?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, see, he's just this right-wing murderer who wanted to kill black people. All right, let's be clear. It wasn't black people who did this. It wasn't black people who it was Proud Boys. Thank you, Pirates. It wasn't Black Rifle, it was Proud Boys. But didn't he get like a Black Rifle t-shirt or something like that?
He was wearing one in the photo. And Black Rifle
Yeah.
said, we don't want anything to do with this. They totally cucked on the Second Amendment issue because they're a bunch of scumbags who hide behind their service.
So you get all this narrative coming out that he went after BLM, he went after black people. No. The vast majority of the actual damage and violence, and some of you guys won't like this, wasn't Black Lives Matter. They were there. They didn't stop it. But again, if you go to that first video that you and I watched, you hear this guy, because some guy just got his ass kicked. And this guy's explaining, you got to be careful which group you go around. And he says, right over there, that's Black Lives Matter. And he goes, over there by the cars, that is Antifa. Don't go near them. They're violent. I mean, this is all there. They don't play that during the trial. But it's right after that we see Kyle running across the parking lot and JoJo running after him. So that's not to say that Black Lives Matter didn't cause any damage, that they weren't a part of it. But the shit that happened with Kyle, all of this stems from our good friends at Antifa, because they like to run around and cause mischief, especially if they can point the blame at others. And Jack, you said this all along. BLM needed to make sure that they were separated from Antifa, and they never did it.
Nope. Which I think
never did it.
Which is going to lead to the downfall of BLM more than this whole thing with buying houses, because they're going to get lumped in as part of Antifa. Real quick though, thank you, Keldrick. Rest in pieces, JoJo. You'll be missed, not by Kyle, but by somebody, I'm sure. Yeah, like Mark Ruffalo. Thank you, Keldrick.
I mean, even his girlfriend, that girlfriend they picked up there, she didn't even look actually sad about him being dead.
Yeah, she was probably relieved. The dude sounded like a nutcase.
Randall says BLM and Antifa are in bed together. And look, there's an argument to be made that BLM was able to pull back their violence because Antifa was doing it for them.
Yeah.
But what actually did happen was Antifa was doing this shit. We saw that over and over again when we watched Portland. You'd have the Black Lives Matter rally in the day. And then as the sky got darker, the audience got, or the riot got lighter. If you watch the people who were out there trying to set fire to the federal building, that wasn't BLM. That was a group of white people. Sometimes hiding behind fat or old people.
Well, yeah, that's kind of their shtick, though. They're the parasite fish that swim around sharks. That they can't do stuff on their own unless they're in a group. So they embed themselves with other groups and let them take the heat. Remember, they're just a myth monkey.
Seal, thank you. Rec is live now. Yeah, he went live. It was supposed to go live at midnight, but he's like me. He's not always on time there, Jack. Even though I still maintain the show starts when I'm here, so I'm never late. The audience sometimes disagrees with that. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's a mystery.
But yeah, we'll do our normal 2-hour show, and then I'll go over and watch. Because I am interested in what he's going to ask about, because he said he's interested in Kyle's life and what all, Kyle's thoughts on all this stuff. He said it's going to be an actual interview. It's not going to be just a typical shoot the shit kind of stream that he has with other people, which is the way to go if you're going to talk to Kyle for the first time, I think.
Yeah.
I kind of did that to Rekieta myself, even though that wasn't my intention. I just wanted to chat with the guy and ended up interviewing him. Thank you. Thank you, Frosted Glass. Antifa enacted Operation Get Behind the Darkies. They really did. Antifa did it. BLM got all the blame. And that is factual. You can go look. The majority of that violence came from Antifa. And especially in Kenosha. Trial starts. And we see this prosecution. It was disgraceful what they were trying to do. Absolutely disgraceful. Kyle, under any circumstance you can think of, was defending himself. He didn't chase JoJo. He didn't throw somebody to the ground and pull a gun on him. And he was very measured in his shooting. Not one stray person got shot by Kyle. The only stray bullet went into the air when he was aiming at somebody who was moving. All of his other bullets went right into their targets. Into JoJo, into Gross Crotch, and into the one I always forget, the poor guy who got shot with the skateboard. I say poor guy, but fuck that guy. He was. By the way, for the prosecution who tried to argue you can't kill somebody with a skateboard, there was somebody killed with a skateboard the other day, Jack.
Yeah. Yeah. There was even one right around the same time as the trial.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Several. It is a weighted board. The trucks and the wheels, not so much, but the trucks on there, you swing that thing, you basically have a mace at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't hurt somebody really with this. And they actually wanted Kyle to just take his beating.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they argued that. Yeah. They argued that. Jack, if somebody told you, hey, you should just take a beating with a skateboard, what would you say?
Am I back in high school?
No.
Oh, I would say fuck you.
Yeah, there's no reason for you.
Lincoln freed my people.
Why are you beating on a man with a gun? Now they argue they were trying to subdue him for the police. He was what, 50 yards from the police when they attacked him?
Yeah, and
frankly,
they weren't trying to subdue shit.
Frankly, the police should have moved in, and they were slowly coming up the street and never changed their speed. They had to have watched this all go down.
Yeah.
Real quick. Who's to say they? Real quick, Faithless says, "Who's to say they would stop before he died?" Great, that's a good question, right? Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, well, they think they get away with whatever they want. But thank you, Evolved Potato. I can't read that because of what it says, but for those of you that saw Tropic Thunder, it was nature's camouflage why you couldn't see BLM. So I'm just going to paraphrase it because the way it's written, I'm sorry, dude, I can't read that. It's funny, but I can't read that.
Faithless, absolutely right. The FBI was fucking filming this. They had drone footage from them.
Yep.
For the record, guys, just an apology. My internet is being shit. That's why me and Jack, I keep stepping on Jack here. There's just a slight delay between us, so I apologize. Please bear with us for the night. I will try to get it fixed.
Whenever Monkeys pauses, I hear it as a pause, and he's already on to the next sentence. So that's why we keep stepping on each other there. It's not intentional.
Yeah, it's one of the things that if we were together doing the show, it wouldn't be a problem because you could see when I'm speaking, I would see when you're speaking, but being so far away, we have to guess.
Yeah.
And with Jax, I mean, there's probably a delay, but I hear it and I can immediately start speaking. So it doesn't sound like there's a break, but on his side, there absolutely is. So sorry about that, guys. It was just absolutely horrible what was done to Kyle. One, he is a 17-year-old boy who's now taken 2 lives and severely wounded another person. Not to mention the fear that he actually felt that night. This is a kid who was trying to do the right thing. He was trying to put out a fire that these fucking assholes were, again, pushing towards a fucking gas station. What do you think their aim was in trying to push a dumpster that is on fire into a gas station, Jack?
Do they get medals for that? Is this heroic?
Do you think they were just trying to warm up the guy inside who was working that night because it was a little chilly?
Yes.
Kind of, yeah. They were trying to blow the place up. Let's be honest about what they were doing here.
No, Monkey. I got this figured out. They thought he was a witch, and they were trying to burn the white supremacy out of him.
Oh, yeah. That could be it. Kyle got a raw deal in this, and I am so the assholes who, when he's up there on the stand and he's actually crying about what happened, they're like, "Oh, it's so fake." That wasn't fake. That was obviously somebody who traumatized. And you see it again when he cries when the verdict is read. Do you guys think he was faking that too? Because it's the same exact kind of reaction. And these fucking assholes like, "Oh, he doesn't really." Fuck you. And he's going to be back in court, this time civil. I mean, he's suing. Are any of the families suing him? I know there was talk about that for a while.
I'm sure they are.
But he's suing, or should be. I know it was talked about. He was going to be suing several media outlets for the bullshit that they said.
I hope he does. And I hope he gets a big payout because he's never going to be able to get a job. Not a real one.
Well, fuck, man. This prevented him from going to college.
Yeah.
The college he was enrolled in told him he couldn't come.
Yeah. They're scared to have him there. And he was doing online classes and that got shut down because all these people hate the guy.
Nuts just pointed that out. Yeah, he's still being punished. They boycotted him going to school. Yeah, and the school should have told those people to shut the fuck up and mind their own business. Shit, I'd want my kid going to school with Kyle. That's a kid who knows how to defend himself.
Yeah, and he's good under pressure. So
you guys are all worried about school shooters. Put Kyle in classrooms. He'll keep them safe.
Right.
But yeah, what happened to this kid was fucking disgusting. It was a travesty. And they drag him up there for political points. They didn't do this trial because they actually thought Kyle was guilty. They damn well knew he didn't do anything wrong. One of the families is suing him. He's fundraising to fight. It's not even one of the families, right? Isn't it like the girlfriend of one of them or some stupid shit like that? I remember hearing about it, but it's escaping my mind at this moment. So yeah, I do know he was fundraising for legal defense. But he really should. He should go after places like, go ahead.
He should sell his bath water. It works for Twitch streamers.
Yeah, unfortunately, some people would buy that. Now, I also want to say this. I don't think Kyle's a hero. I really don't. I think in a perfect world, Kyle would have stayed home that night.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to do the right thing, and that part is heroic, but he's not heroic for shooting these people. He's lucky in shooting these people. He's lucky he had the ability to defend himself. I don't think he did anything wrong, though. That's different. Saying I don't think Kyle should have been there is not the same thing as saying I think Kyle did something wrong. I'm saying he went to a very bad situation. Jack, when I was at the height of my strength and I was a young man who could fight very well and loves to fight, I wouldn't have gone to something like that.
No.
Because that's just asking for some trouble. And I don't think Kyle went there asking for trouble. I think he didn't know he was asking for trouble. I think he was trying to do the right thing. And yes, Assassin of the Grave, that is a wonderful point that when they were saying, when the press is saying Kyle should have stayed home, they never said those fucking rioters should have stayed home. Not one goddamn time did anyone in the press point that out. None of them were like, yeah, the rioters should have stayed home, which they absolutely should have.
Hey,
that was not a protest. Go ahead.
Thank you. You're right. You're absolutely correct on that. Thank you, Frosted Glass. To be fair, what teacher would feel safe around a kid whose claim to fame was killing pedos and sex pests?
That's a good point.
Yeah, that is a very fair one. The teachers union might strike over that. Also, one of the people he shot was a domestic abuser. So that they might have issue with that too. I don't know, man. That's something to take up with the union, I guess.
Faithless says accidental hero rid the world of scum by chance. Yeah. I've anytime we've talked about this, I've gone back to the Kennedy thing when he was asked how he became a hero. And he said, my boat was sinking. It's not something he wanted to do. It's just that it was a matter of circumstance.
Yeah.
And Tyrannus says, honestly, no one should have been there. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
And frankly, if you want to blame anybody for this, blame the people who run Kenosha. They had that riot the night before. They should have had as much police presence out there as possible, keeping this riot from ever getting to where it was in the first place the second night.
Yeah. They weren't doing enough arrests. They weren't intervening. A lot of places burned down. People got killed. All of this could have been avoided after that first night very easily. Same in a lot of these other places we've seen. Georgia, where they're burning Atlanta down, and all the other riots across, especially in Portland and Seattle.
4 months of Portland, yeah. Pumpkin Hawk, thank you. Monkey, you didn't answer me on Twitter, and now I missed an hour of the stream. I wanted to catch you on time, LOL. Sorry about that, dude. I did see your comment, and I didn't answer because I didn't know when I was going to go live. The only reason I went live when I did was so that anybody who wanted to watch the Rekieta stream wouldn't miss as much of it. I really wanted to go at like 10 o'clock tonight, Jack, but around 8, actually around 7, I just got so tired. I took a nap. I woke up around like 9:30. And I was thinking about going back to bed, and it's like, no, we got to get this done if we're going to do it.
Well, I didn't check the news headlines to see what got destroyed while you were sleeping.
Probably a lot. Pumpkin Hawk, thank you. Sorry, your cousin, my mistake. LOL. Yeah, fair. Well, I mean, you were getting the message to me through my cousin. I understood what you meant. Yeah, the police did a fucking horrible job all through the summer of 2020, all through all of these riots. They were letting them happen, and in some cases even telling us so. You got to let people blow off the steam. It's just property damage. And that was the wrong action. They should have been calling in the National Guard much earlier. And when Trump suggested it, they were like, how dare you turn the military on the people? Like, one, they don't even claim to be American anymore, so fuck them.
Yeah.
But two, you have these people destroying homes and lives. And one of the things that the government is supposed to do is protect us and our property rights.
Yeah, and like Tyrannus said, they should have declared martial law and cracked down like they did in Baltimore. They absolutely should have, because that's what the one real role of the government, like you said, is to protect the citizens. Sometimes you need to protect the citizens from other citizens. And when people are running around burning every CVS in the area down, maybe it's time to go and say, enough of that shit. Go home or we're going to take you down.
Metal Minister is talking about how he agreed with Destiny on this, and it's like the one time Destiny was right. Destiny does get a few things right, but in this case, he went further than even we do, Jack. I always said, if you want to stop these riots, shoot one of those rioters in the foot. Destiny talked about, they should probably be mowed down. I'm paraphrasing a little bit there. That. He got a lot of pushback for suggesting people who are setting towns on fire should be shot.
Yeah,
well, if it was your property and you were inside.
Oh, sorry.
Well, no, if it's your property, say you own a Korean store in downtown LA and somebody breaks in and you shoot them, that would be justified. But if you're not there and they set it on fire, you have no recourse. They're fine. So I think shooting him in the foot would have been enough. Plus, it would have given him a permanent limp, which would have been funny. They would look like zombies when they marched.
Yeah,
it would look like the Thriller video.
Ew.
Go ahead, Jack. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, they won't do anything about this because there was so much pushback in the 70s when they set the National Guard in. What they need to do is every time there's a riot, they get the cops in riot gear, give them sticks back, let them have their truncheons, and do a good old-fashioned beatdown. Get the fire hoses out and start reminding people that civil disobedience is still disobedience. And it'll be heavy-handed at first, but it will send the message. You cannot burn neighborhoods down, even if it's your own neighborhood, just because some piece of shit criminal got killed.
In my mind, civil disobedience is, still marching peacefully when they say, okay, it's time to clear the street.
Well, that's what it used to be.
Burning shit down is arson. Those are different. And yeah, they've turned civil disobedience into any criminal activity you do that you can then say, hey, I did it because X crime the police did.
Yeah. Now it's mostly peaceful but fiery when you burn somebody's livelihood to the ground because you're mad about somebody you don't know getting killed because they shot at the cops or something equally dumb. And that's wrong. They should not be moving the goalposts like that. If they want to peacefully march, nobody gives a shit. You inconvenience a few people. They redirect traffic. Fine. Sitting down, blocking traffic on a highway, that's how you get run over like those retards in the Summer of Love. But you start burning neighborhoods down and throwing stuff at people, it's unacceptable.
I'm sorry. I know we're not supposed to say things like that, but that chick cartwheeling off that car was funny as shit.
Yeah, it was.
You were on a highway and got hit. Yeah. Bowling Antifa. Yeah, I remember when that happened. I can still see her ragdolling in the air. That was funny. I'm sorry. You walked in a fucking highway.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do that ever because of, fast cars moving on them. It's for your own safety, dipshit. And instead of telling these idiots, no, you can't go stand in the highway, they told cars you can't be here. Fuck that. They had it absolutely backwards.
Well, at what point did we coddle society so much that the youth of the country thought it was acceptable to do that and people would actually stop? Because that's a huge sense of entitlement there, that you can walk out into traffic and all those 1,000-pound missiles going at 80 miles an hour are going to magically stop for you. That's a fundamental breakdown of education and society in general.
You remember that idiot who got stuck on the back of a double truck? It had the two different trailers behind it.
Yeah,
he got stuck and ended up going. Right? Yeah, and went under the wheels eventually. Yeah. Whoopsie.
Oh man! And look, road rash on your dick. Good job.
It might sound, bad that we laugh about this stuff, but that's Darwinism right there. I'm sorry, you were in the fucking highway and you got hit by a semi. Weird. Same thing like when just regular cars are getting accosted by these assholes, and then the driver gets scared and they hit the gas and they're, I can't believe they fuck you. Why were you in front of his car in the road? That's on you.
Yeah. But we've coddled people in society so much that the result is that these people have such a huge sense of entitlement that they can do whatever they want with no consequence.
Yep. And look, guys, I don't like supporting police action. I really don't, because for the most part, I think police should leave us the fuck alone. But there does come a time when it is their job to get in there and break this shit up. And Kenosha is one of the great examples where if they would have done their fucking job, not just the police, the mayor, the governor, all of them should have been involved to try to get this resolved that night. It should not have been a second night, period. They let it happen. And 2 people got killed. That's on them.
Yep.
Anyway. Anything else you want to add to that, Jack, before we move on?
No, we need to get back to maintaining some civil order because this stuff is destroying innocent people's lives, and you can't do that over a bunch of degenerate scumbag criminals. It's not fair to the innocent people that did nothing wrong and had nothing to do with this. That's all I got.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, I will watch that Kyle interview with interest because I did see his one that he did with Crowder, and that was a pretty good one. But I haven't seen him on anything else, and I really do think if you're looking at the kind of people who really made a difference in this, you kind of do have to look to YouTube Law Division. I don't want to call them LawTube because apparently that's hella gay according to Nick. But I'll call them Law Division, YouTube Law Division. Some of these guys were out there preaching Kyle's case, and head of the pack, of course, was Nick. And if you watch the stream where they read the verdict and see the genuine joy in those guys' faces when the right verdict was read out, Kyle should have been on Nick's show a long time ago. And whoever that douche was, that PR guy that got hired for Kyle that was stopping that from happening, I hope you end up working in a burger joint because you suck at your job. Not that there's anything wrong with working in a burger joint, but this PR guy is sincerely bad at his job, and door greeter at Walmart would probably be a good place for him. How the fuck do you not get him on the biggest law channel that brings in hundreds of thousands of views?
I don't know.
Michigan School Board says white people are more dangerous than animals. Which animals? Animals is pretty fucking vague.
All of them, monkey.
I guess. Earlier this week, a Michigan School Board meeting took place where Keisha Hamilton, a school board member, stood by her statement that white people are more dangerous than animals. That's funny. I'm sorry. And yes, we are animals. People always make that distinction. Humans are animals. We're just smart animals.
Yeah, but you know how she meant that.
Oh, of course I know how she meant it. As a result of the crazy accusations, the meeting had a larger attendance than normal, with many parents and attendees demanding her resignation. You mean for her being racist? Why should she have to step down for that?
You can't be racist against white people. You know that.
I know that's what we're told, but we need to fix this nonsense in our country that white people can't be racist, that you can't be racist against white people, that blacks and Mexicans and Chinese, none of these people can be racist. Bullshit. And that needs to stop.
Well, it's the same excuse that white people used back in the days of Jim Crow and before, where, well, we can't because these people are bad.
King had it right. Content of character, not color of skin. And the fact that we've gotten so far away from that. It only took us about 30 years to say, you know what? King was wrong about that. Nothing matters more than race.
Well, and look at where this leads, though. Whenever they do stuff like this, that you dehumanize your enemy, because every group needs an enemy, apparently, especially cults, like the woke crowd. They need that as an excuse to take away other people's stuff, because you have to dehumanize people in order to justify bad actions against them.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry. In December, Hamilton boldly tweeted out, "Whiteness is so evil. It manipulates, then says, I won't apologize for my dishonesty and trauma-inducing practices, and thinks you should applaud it for being honest about its ability to manipulate and be dishonest." She went on to claim the last thing you have to worry about is an animal. Thought that would be a very real threat. More dangerous are any whites you may see on the trail. Be safe. Wow.
Yeah.
And of course she's young. Of course she is. As a result of those outrageous tweets, many voiced their concern and displeasure with Hamilton. One concerned parent, rightfully so, pointed out, how can all kids feel safe when physical characteristics over which they have no control are being called evil and dangerous? How the fuck did we get back to this argument? How the fuck did we do this?
Commies.
Yeah, you're not right. Sorry, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Because division, divide and conquer.
Yep.
People, stop fighting over race. All you're doing is helping the powers that be get what they want.
Yep.
I'm gonna let y'all know this. If you're a black person and you see a white guy, they're probably not going to hurt you. They're probably very much like you. If you're a white guy who sees a black guy, probably not going to hurt you. They're probably a lot like you. We're people. We just happen to have different melanin content.
All that hate.
Failed to learn from history, doomed to repeat it. Blazin, you're fucking right. I wish you weren't, but you're absolutely right. And it's not like we don't have a lot of this history to look at. I mean, it's right there. It's right there. Mess has never relaxed, though. I don't trust anybody. I've never been in a crowd of white people and went, thank God it's all whiteys. Because I don't trust a motherfucker. But it's not based on their race. It's based on you should be that way. I mean, you should have skepticism with everybody.
Sounds dangerous. Best to just do what the leadership tells you and blindly obey.
Hate them, and it makes it easier for us to control you. And people keep falling for it, Jack.
Yep. Well, some people are easily led. Others want to have an enemy. They want division. They want that chaos. And they want somebody to blame for their problems, which is usually what it really is somebody feels disenfranchised because they don't have what they think they deserve, and they want somebody to blame for that. And the other
parent
is
added,
always the easy way to do it.
Another parent added, you are not addressing the disparities, you are adding to them by your hurtful remarks. Your words are not unifying our community. Your words are dividing our community. Hamilton doubled down on her racist remarks, saying, what I understand from being a woman in this American nation, and a black woman specifically, is that sometimes others would rather I not exercise any of my rights as outlined in the Constitution. I do not apologize for exercising any of my rights. Nobody's asking you to apologize for exercising your rights. They're asking you to step down because you're a racist twat.
Hate fact.
Be as racist as you want. I don't give a fuck. Go on Twitter and call me the white devil. I don't give a shit, lady. But you should not be in charge of children while you're being racist like that. By all means, say it. I don't think you should be jailed for it. But I don't think you should be in charge of children. One teacher who's a proud conservative white Christian pointed out the hypocrisy. Never once in these 5 years has she questioned me, a white man, a conservative Christian man at that, in regards to teaching her children about their history, a history that is not mine. What do you mean it's not yours? It's American history.
Oh, no. That's white people thinking. I don't know. This is fucking insane. These people are the weirdos.
The reason I point this out is because that is a woke talking point, that blacks and whites have different history. Were we treated differently? Sure, but it's all our history. It's American history. And he's falling for it. I taught their history. Really? What African studies class did you teach in high school? Right. You taught American history. It's not separate history. It's all of ours. And this is one of the reasons I point out, like, oh, white people, they have all of the advantages of slavery. So do you. If you live in America, you benefited off of what slavery did for this country, period. White, black, brown, doesn't matter. We are all here together from where we came from. All of us. Hamilton is employed with Diverse Minds Consulting. That sounds fucking right. She also holds a position as the chair of the city of Jackson's Racial Equity Commission. There it is. Not racial equality, racial equity. What does that mean, ladies, boys and girls? What does equity mean? Communism. Say it with me. Communism.
Yeah.
Racial equity. Fuck off. Fucking idiots, man. I really don't like them, Jack.
Well, there seems to be
Anyhow.
quite a few of them now.
Oh, they really do. Shit, I still need to find that thing so I can pop out chat from over there. All right. Unfortunately, I have to do so many things in this window. That, or I need to finally set up a third screen.
Third screen.
Which means I have to clean my desk, and I'm just not about that life.
Sorry, man. Sometimes the duty calls.
I just feel bad because I feel like I'm ignoring them. And I know chat over here will be like, you ignore us. Yeah, I know. But I literally rarely even see that screen. Because all my controls are on this one. All right. Netherlands to shut down Europe's largest gas field. That sounds like a good fucking idea. Why?
Yeah, well, because they gotta fight the global warmings, monkey.
Oh God, is this the same shit that they were doing with the farmers? Is that all from this?
Yeah, this is just more of that shit.
Yeah, with the farmers, the reason they were going to be taking away farms and stuff was to meet their global warming initiatives. And it wasn't just that. It was other things too. That was just the one that caused a big backlash because the farmers are like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Dutch government plans to close the Groningen gas fields this year, despite Europe's precarious supply position. Groningen is the largest gas field in Europe. Yeah. I guess the Dutch are on Putin's side, huh?
Not directly, but yes. Yeah,
well, who does this help? Who does this give a bigger hand to? Who does this? I mean, this is like slipping him a couple of aces when you're playing poker. You didn't really. No. Go ahead.
This is helping Big Solar.
Oh, well, yeah. Big Solar. Can we just call it big bullshit?
No. That one's probably copyrighted.
This field is dangerous. A government official from The Hague told the Financial Times, and the government has no plans to boost production from it. We won't open up more because of safety issues. It's politically totally unviable, but apart from that, I'm not going to do it because it means you increase the chances of earthquakes, which I don't want to be responsible for. How many earthquakes have they had because of it?
Millions.
Production from Groningen has been curtailed substantially, and there were plans in place to phase out production altogether because of the increased seismic activity in the vicinity of the field, even before the energy crisis of 2021. As gas prices began to climb in the autumn of 2021 and then took off in the spring of 2022, some began speculating that the Netherlands would keep the field open to contribute to filling the gap in gas supply left by the Russian pipeline deliveries. Call me skeptical. Call me skeptical that seismic activity is what they are doing it for. The Dutch government was skeptical. Skeptical. We're skeptical about that from the start and instead suggested production be extended, although at a minimum rate of some 2.8 billion cubic meters. Now this too is being reconsidered. It's very, very simple. Everybody who had some knowledge of earthquake danger tells me that it's really very dangerous to keep on producing there. I'm quite convinced it's wise to close it down. Vij Brief told the FT, Financial Times. Thank you, Keldrig. The Jews can finally breathe freely again. How so? Oh, the gas shortage. I got you. Never mind. Took me a moment.
I was going to leave that one be, but
yeah, I didn't get it, and then I'm slow sometimes. Yes, the quakes are real. The people there have complained and feel mistreated. Since the 1980s, the financial, that's in chat, Matt said that. Since the 1980s, the FT notes there have been some 100 earthquakes annually around Groningen, resulting in more than 150,000 claims for property damage. The operator of the field, a Shell Exxon joint venture, was ordered to start reducing output in 2013 with a view to shutting down the field eventually. How many earthquakes were there before it?
Oh, I mean, they haven't really said if that. I didn't see anything in the article, and I kind of quit around this point. But are these
That's the
caused by
end.
like normal plate tectonic things, or is there something, or is this actually from pulling the gas out?
Did they drill on a fucking fault line?
They might have.
Easy solution, buy them all out. The gas field is worth hundreds of billions. Yeah, I mean, it is possible to trigger earthquakes by drilling if you drill in the wrong spot. Mess is not a tectonic area naturally, which makes me wonder why this is causing tectonic activity. It's when an earthquake is, the plate shifting. So, I mean, shut it down. I don't give a fuck. I don't live there and I don't live in Europe, so fuck them. Let them go gasless. And you're right, man. Easy answer would be to buy them out. But I don't know. 150,000 claims since 1980. It's still a lot of claims, but one earthquake can cause a lot of claims. And I do find it telling that they didn't tell us how big the quakes were. I was in a quake one time in my life, Jack, in Grand Rapids. I was sitting at my desk and things began to shake. And it was weird because there was an airplane getting ready to go over us and they kind of flew low where I was. And for half a second, my brain thought an airplane hit the building. And then I realized, no, it's just an earthquake. It knocked over a picture on one person's desk.
Oh, no, son of a bitch.
Yeah, technically there was an earthquake. And even at its epicenter, which I believe came from down near you guys, it was somewhere in Ohio,
Yeah,
but it was felt as high up as Grand Rapids. There was no real damage done. So, if you shake a house enough times, sure, you can even knock it loose from its foundation. But again, buy them out. Just buy them out and you have little quakes. The ground resettles as you take the gas out, I guess. Good luck, Europe. You guys really should go to nuke power. I'm just saying. Just get it over with. Go to nuke power, because otherwise you are beholden to everyone else. You don't have the natural reserves on the mainland that you need for the people you have. And solar and wind ain't going to cut it. The reality of the situation. Biggest quake was a 3.6. So nothing. Like, that would barely shake shit off your walls.
I doubt it's even that strong, quite honestly.
Yeah. I get it. If the earthquakes are real, fine. And they started because of this, fine. But you guys are making a big mistake here. They keep adding more and more to the electrical grid without adding to the production. Even if there weren't more houses and stuff being built, we use so much more electricity now just with all of our gadgets and shit. Even if you never added one more house to the grid, the amount of electricity that's used in houses now is so much higher than it used to be.
Yeah, but at least a lot of that stuff is more energy efficient now.
Sure. And especially a lot of the older stuff, like old washing machines and TVs, those have been upgraded so they don't pull as much. Electric cars, yes, absolutely. We're building 2 nuke plants. Well, Europe needs several of them. What do they have? Like one left or two left?
Something like that.
I know they've cut way back. We're doing it here in the US too. These fucking idiots who want green energy. Look, it's not perfectly green because you do have waste from it, but we have ways of storing the waste where it's fine. And if you really want to be as green as we can be, have your windmills, have your solar farms, but you're going to need nuclear to back it up. You just do. That's just reality. Especially like here in Michigan, Jack, where half the year we don't have the sun out. We're not going to get by on windmills and solar plants. We're just not. There's not enough.
Oh, you're just going to have to freeze then, aren't you?
Apparently.
Bigots.
Retire. You know what? I'm going to become Antifa and burn police cars to stay warm. That's a joke, YouTube. I'm not actually going to commit crimes. I'm not Antifa. Retired top FBI counterintelligence agent who led Trump Russia probe arrested for his own ties to Russian oligarch. I saw a headline about this and didn't read it. This is funny. Okay, it's not so much funny as it is depressing. Can we just be honest here? What happened in 2016? There was Russian interference. There was Russia meddling in our government against Trump. The Steele dossier, half of it came from the fucking Russians. Why don't we talk about this? Why is this not talked about? Everybody's out there still, Russia, Russia, Russia. What about what they did with the Steele dossier? They tried to get the president of the United States removed with bullshit that came from the Russians.
Look, Monkey, you can't get Hunter a job if you investigate people that will hire him.
Charles McGonigal charged with breaking U.S. sanctions against Russia oligarch Oleg Deripaska money laundering. A former FBI counterintelligence official who spearheaded the Trump-Russia probe was arrested and charged over his own alleged ties to a sanctioned Russian oligarch amid the war in Ukraine. Charles McGonigal, a former special agent in charge of FBI counterintelligence division in New York, who retired in 2018, is accused of violating U.S. sanctions by agreeing to provide services to Oleg Deripaska, a sanctioned Russian oligarch. He's charged alongside Sergei, Shestakov, I think, a former Soviet and Russian diplomat who later became a U.S. citizen and a Russian interpreter for courts and government offices, through a 5-count indictment unsealed in Manhattan federal court Monday. Shocking. I'm guessing no one reads Monkey in the Morning. What? What happened? Or are you talking about that's why nobody talks about this shit? They were both arrested Saturday. The indictment is a rare move by federal prosecutors to bring charges against a senior former FBI official before a federal grand jury. Though not referenced in or related to the indictment, McGonigal, while serving as chief of cybercrime section at the FBI headquarters in D.C., was one of the first bureau officials to learn of allegations George Papadopoulos, a campaign advisor for Trump, boasted that he knew Russia had dirt on Hillary Clinton. You don't see a connection there, huh? That's unrelated, Jack.
Nothing to see here.
Let me get this straight. A former FBI head of cybersecurity, if you fuck with the intelligence committees, they got 6 ways to Sunday to fuck you back. This guy who worked for one of those agencies just happened to find this Papadopoulos bullshit, which turned out to be nonsense. And he quits And then he goes to work for the Russians. Do you really need Charlie Kelly's board for this thing? For real? Nuts, thank you for pointing that out. Guys, let's get the likes up. Let's get the thumbs up over there on the Rumble. Get it as close to the number of people who are actually watching as possible. I know it's a pain in the ass to reach up there and hit that like button, but believe me, it really does help. And that's not just for me. Anytime you're watching a live stream, please do that if you enjoy the content.
Won't you think
Isn't
of
this
the
treason?
children?
Oh yeah, think of all the children.
Yeah.
Ebony says, "Isn't this treason?" Not exactly, because this is just violating law. It's because we put a sanction on this guy. You're not supposed to do business with him, and this idiot's doing business with him. It's not like trading state secrets or anything, and we're not technically at war with Russia. If we were at war with Russia, this would probably be comfort and support to the enemy.
We're not through all the articles yet.
Why'd you say that?
You said we're not at war with Russia yet. We haven't finished the news.
Now I'm curious what's coming up in the news here.
Well, it's called foreshadowing, Monkey.
Yeah, I got that, but now because I didn't read a whole lot of news today, so I feel like I'm in the dark about something. I'm curious.
We'll get there in a couple articles.
I figured we would. You wouldn't leave me hanging like that, but now I'm like, what? Now I got to see it. I'm a very impatient man, Jack. You can't do shit like that to me.
Sure,
I mean, you can, but it's not nice. I'm a very impatient man.
I know.
Anyway,
that's okay.
Monkey needs to sing before I like. Oh, you only sing or you only like on the way out? I would sing in the ghetto, but I've been singing it way too much lately. Happy birthday to me. There, I just read it, or I just sang. Yeah, people clipped me singing in the ghetto on the second night. I sang it the other night. Yeah, I really like that song. If you bring it up, I can't help but sing it. In the ghetto. You slept, doomsday marches upon us. Fair enough. Anthony Albanese ordered new alcohol restrictions to tackle the out-of-control crime wave gripping Alice Springs as he touches down in the outback town amid seething anger from locals. There's a whole lot in that headline.
Right.
So this guy, who's Anthony Albanese?
The Prime Minister.
He's the Prime Minister.
Australia?
Yeah. Okay. I should know that, as somebody who does the news and stuff, I really should be more up on who heads of states are, but I'm not.
I only have so much functional space in my brain.
Yeah, and unlike those liars on TV, I'm not going to pretend I know something I don't because we don't have interns to bring us the names of these guys.
Yeah.
That's how they do it. New measures to deal with surging crime in Alice Springs. Spate of break-ins, robberies, and violent crimes in town. Immediate restrictions to be implemented in troubled town. So because of crime, you're cracking down on alcohol?
Oh, it's insane crime. I didn't realize this, but they're having a real crime surge in this town. It is insane. It's like Antifa's there.
But can they actually tie it to the alcohol?
I don't know. People huffing gasoline too, probably.
I mean, there's times that you can say, we had a spike here because of alcohol, all right, I'll take his word for it. The Prime Minister has announced new measures to deal with out-of-control crime in Alice Springs on a visit to the troubled outback Northern Territory town on Tuesday. Police and some commentators claim shit. That was a trip and fall.
Apparently.
Try that again. Police and some commentators claim crime levels in the outback town escalated since the government lifted bans on alcohol in July. There we go. There's the link. The town is in the grip of a spate of break-ins, robberies, and violent crime committed primarily by youth in the area. Stop letting young people drink. Problems were immediate, police said, when the Stronger Futures in the Northern Territory Act ceased on July 17, 2022, meaning alcohol was available for the first time in many of the territory's indigenous settlements since 2007. Are we going to talk about that?
No. The Abo's getting rowdy. Can't talk about that.
And by the way, if you're Australian, we're American, so we can say abo. It's not a slur here.
No.
Speaking at a press conference in Alice Springs, Anthony Albanese outlined immediate restrictions to be implemented in cooperation with NT authorities. NT Chief Minister Natasha Files, it's a weird way to spell that, announced immediately new alcohol restrictions for Alice Springs and Central Australia, including takeaway alcohol-free days on Mondays and Tuesdays. Fuck is an alcohol-free day? They giving away free alcohol?
Maybe.
There will also be reduced hours for alcohol sales on other days and one daily transaction per person. Fuck. Just go in and buy a keg a day. That's one transaction.
That's true.
Not everyone will be happy about these announcements, said Mrs. Files, or Miss Files, I'm sorry. I don't want to misgender her prefix.
Yeah, you monster.
There will also be a new body created to coordinate partnerships between the territories and federal government. Look, it sounds like you guys have not let these people have alcohol for a long, long time, and they got it back, and they've lost their fucking minds because you treated them like children. Was there an increase in crime when America got rid of the
booze?
The limits on alcohol?
Look,
Prohibition is what I was trying to say.
Just because it's never worked before doesn't mean it won't work this time, right? That's the communist way of thinking. But I don't know. This seems like there's some underlying issues here and not just the booze.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong about that, but I can also see booze being an issue if you've taken it away from people and then you bring it back and you're like, all right, y'all can get drunk and stupid again. Well, they're going to get drunk and stupid again. I would think, though, if it was alcohol related, you'd see it would be more like assault and battery rather than break-ins.
Maybe they're breaking in.
Who gets drunk but like, hey, it'd be funny. Let's break into that house over there. But anyway, read chat. Ozzy's trying to give contact here. What I miss? I'm not. Look, how do you think the people on Rumble feel? Hi, people on Rumble. I'm over here looking at you guys right now. I'm over here right now looking at them, and I haven't done that in like 5 minutes. How dare you get upset that I'm ignoring you? Contacts, not contact. I said contact, though. I read it properly. You wrote it wrong. Look, man, I don't know. I don't think you can actually attribute this all to alcohol, not the crimes that they're talking about.
Yeah, they're saying the Abos can't handle their booze.
Well, you've not let them have it in what is that, 16 years?
Yeah, well, Dangerous was saying that it was a dry community and things improved dramatically when they took the booze away. I mean, we are talking about a group of people that sleep in the street, so I don't know. Is that a cultural thing?
Look, man, if you had to look at abo titties, wouldn't you be mad?
Yes.
Abo titties, even the young perky ones, look like pancakes.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's just true. They have weird looking boobies. And if you don't believe me, guys, look up abo tits. What do you have to look up? Abo breast or aboriginal boobies? Have your safe search off so you can see it. They have incredibly weird breasts. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to speculate because I'd get in a lot of fucking trouble. We'd have to do that on Rumble. But which, by the way, Dog told us how to shut down this one so we could go to Rumble afterwards if we ever wanted to have one of those kind of talks.
Yeah.
So that'll be coming in the future.
If you type in Abo tits, you get Olivia Dabo and Miriam Dabo's tits, which worth looking at, but not quite the ones we're talking about.
I don't know how the Wall Street Journal pulls this off, but we can't read this article, Jack. We can only read the top of it, even though it's on the archive. At least seven dead in California's second mass shooting in 3 days. Killings occurred at 2 agricultural nurseries near coastal city of San Francisco. Being that it happened in the same 2 kinds of places, it sounds like a disgruntled employee again.
Yeah, but it's
leave it to a man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's more Asian crime. There's been a weird spike in it lately.
Leave it to a man to blame a woman's body for violent crimes. Look, nuts. A lot of male behavior is based on women. Okay, that's just fact. Because we do a lot of things to impress you, or because you pissed us off. There's a lot. You guys have a lot more control over us than you think. Some of y'all know that. Some of y'all do, and you're dirty because you play it. Just saying. And yeah, if all we had to look at was flat titties, I think we'd all be angry. Have a good night, Pyrus. Take care, bud.
Have a good one, Pyrus. Real quick, though, thank you, Evolved Potato. You guys also need to know that Aboriginals can't process alcohol like most other people. They literally can't have resistance to it, like at all. Plus, it's very addictive to them, like extremely. It is genetic, and that's something we can't talk about.
Isn't that the same with Asians? There's something with them that they can't process.
Certain Asian groups have problems processing alcohol. Yeah, mostly in the Southeast Asia, as I recall. But yeah, if there's because the Aboriginals were on Australia for so long, they didn't really intermix with other cultures, so they may have some sort of weird genetic limitation on that. That makes sense to me in a kind of horrific way, but
considering the Aborigines are probably just Asians who migrated down that way as well, and over the years ended up looking like they do. And it is who is it? Is it Koreans that have trouble with alcohol? I want to say Koreans are one of them.
Maybe.
Over on Crowder's show, he has, I want to say it's Korean, but he has somebody who works for him, and they actually did a test one day. And if this guy drinks at all, his face becomes immediately red. The kind of stuff that would take you 5 or 6 drinks hits him like that. So it makes sense when there's a certain part of the population that can't do it. And if they're all from the same tribe and stuff, and they all have that genetic defect. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really for limitations like that. You know what I mean? I get it, but they're still grown-ass people who should get to make their own fucking decisions.
Yeah.
They're making bad decisions, throw them in jail.
Before you do the next article, skip to the last one, because the second to last is supposed to be the last. I just screwed up the order.
Okay, yeah, this one here was just telling us about the new shooting, and we can't read much more of it, but I did see some dude from California our gun laws, they obviously work because our crime is lower per capita than other states. Really? Really? Let's cut out all the people who live in Northern California and see how that works out.
Yeah.
Let's concentrate it where you have the concentration of people and see how that works out. Fucker. Oh my God. We are going to have to skip the how to be friends with black people, Jack. We just don't have time for that one tonight. But I do want
Frosted. Sorry, Frosted.
I would like to do that. It's just we don't, because that'll be a long discussion. All right. By the way, the short version of how to be friends with black people is just realize they're people and treat them like people. There you go. U.S. finalizing plans to send approximately 30 Abrams tanks to Ukraine two U.S. officials say.
World War III, here we come. We're not at war.
We're only
with
sending
Russia.
defensive things.
That's why we send
We're
in
only
59
sending
Bradley
defensive-
tanks, a bunch of Strikers, and now some Abrams.
Yeah. We are sending a armored division to them. The U.S. is finalizing plans to send approximately 30 Abrams tanks. Yeah, you said that in the title. The Biden administration announcement to send the U.S.-made tanks could come as early as this week, CNN reported earlier Tuesday. The timing around the actual deliveries of the tanks is still unclear, and it normally takes several months to train troops to use tanks effectively, officials said. What the fuck could go wrong with us sending Ukraine, a dirty, formerly communist regime that is seriously, seriously corrupt, a bunch of our armored shit? What could go
Look, they
wrong
could
there?
just buy it from Afghanistan. But also, real quick, thank you, Evolved Potato. Also, most of the Aboriginals are on government money, and they switched from a card which restricts what they can buy with it to one that they can use for anything. Although that's not going to help the addiction issues then. But yeah, back to the article here. Thank you, Evolved. Look, Patriot missiles, Bradleys, Strikers, some Abrams tanks. I don't know how the Russians could misinterpret this and say that we're involved in this just because we're training all these people, and just because this is how it backfired on us in Afghanistan, and now look at that disaster. I don't know why you're upset about this, Monkey. How could this possibly go sideways on us? How? Explain that to me.
Top national security officials in the administration have actively considered steps that they could take to convince Germany to send the Leopards. The Leopard is one of their most recent tanks.
Yeah, we
The
also
Leopard
told a
2
bunch
is the
of
one that's
South
talking
American countries that they could send their outdated equipment, and we'd give them shiny new stuff.
This is fucking ridiculous.
This is dangerous.
They're going to kick off World War III, but don't worry. They're doing it for democracy, you guys.
Yeah, democracy.
All right. We are going to wrap up there. We're at the 2-hour mark. I'm actually not going to go watch Nick. I'm going to have to do that later. I see Bubba's in chat, so we're going to go play some Phasmo. And then I'll watch Nick after that. Now, depending on how tired I am, maybe I'll do an after party about this. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all of the donations. You guys are so kind. Please hit the like button and the thumbs up button. Tell your friends, your family, that bitch you hate. Tell them about the show. Because I'm just going to be honest with you here. We don't toot our horns all that often. It's certainly not as much as we deserve to. However, if you want the news and you want it straight, come watch us. I can't tell you the number of times that I've had conversation where somebody starts to tell me about the news. I'm like, yeah, we covered that like 5 days ago. And it's just breaking in the main thing. If you want to know what's going on and have a good time and laugh and occasionally hear some, hear about flat titties, have them come check out the show. I hope my birthday today goes well. Super Mutant, it's your birthday. Around here, we do this, and a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
To you.
Happy birthday
to you.
Happy birthday, dear
Super Mutant.
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday, Super Mutant. Thank you for coming and hanging out and spending part of your birthday with us. I hope you have a really, really good one.
Right?
It is so much harder to sing happy birthday when we have that lag. It really is.
Sounds like shit.
Actually, it works out pretty well because you do very well with the timing of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for all of the donations. Jack, anything you want to show?
I'll drop some links to some cool videos, but thank you so much for the donations and the support you guys give us. We really, really do appreciate it. And it's nice to see people on Rumble and that channel growing as well. So thank you guys for supporting us on the platforms. We appreciate it quite a bit.
Indeed, whether they're watching here or on Rumble, just get them come watching us. By the way, I did want to apologize for not doing a game stream last night. Ask Jack at the end of the show. I just crashed. I got so tired I could not stay up. Jack, I slept for 9 hours.
Damn, that's pretty impressive. I'm surprised. Well, that's probably how they made the decision to send the Abrams tanks. Good job.
Probably. Yeah, I went from sleeping 3 hours a night before and not well for the last week or so to 9 hours straight without waking up. And then I wake up and my eye was a problem again. I found 2 of my hairs in my eye. I don't know how that keeps happening or why, but they're like 2 inches long and it takes me a while, but I got to get and so my eye was hurting all fucking day. I'm gonna have to start.
I was encouraging you to do a stream so you could fall asleep on stream and amuse the audience with snoring. But no,
that's true.
No, he was all like, "No, I'm going to bed. I'm not doing a stream." I'm like, do it. So I tried, guys. I tried.
Mess says you announced on Twitter, so no problem. I was anticipating Anno. Yeah, I know people are liking that one, but I just got so tired. Same with earlier today, Jack. I don't know why I just got so tired. I slept 9 fucking hours. And then at 7, I just crashed. I was so fucking tired. But well, no big deal there. Thank you guys for watching. Jack, a pleasure as always.
Always glad to be here.
Everyone, have a wonderful night. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
If you left before I sung, you missed part of the show. And if you do it again, I'm going to tell you where to go. Watch the show. Watch the show. Watch the show. That song sucked, but it's a song. Not